Hello, welcome to economics class with first chapter the story of village Palampur. As we had already seen the picture of village Palampur here on the screen. In the introductory part, what is there in the chapter? The chapter is all about the story of village Palampur. The farming, which tells us that the farming is the main activity in village Palampur, whereas several other activities are also taking place, such as the smaller scale manufacturing, dairy transport, etc., are carried out on a limited scale. These production activities need various types of resources. They could be in the form of natural resources, man made items, human efforts, money, etc. In this chapter, we will talk about these factors or resources in detail. The village has about 450 families belonging to different castes. The 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. Their houses, some of them quite large, and are made up of brick with cement plastering. The SCs, means Dalit, or the lower class people, comprise one third of the population and live in one corner of the village and in much smaller houses, maybe mud houses, most of them, some of which them are mud and straw, and some of the houses are also the pakka houses. Most of the houses in village Palampur have electric connections. Electricity powers all the tube well in the fields and is used in various types of small businesses. Palampur has two primary schools, one high school. There is a primary health center also which is run by the government, and one private dispensary where the sick are treated. Palampur is having well developed electricity system and is well connected with the neighboring villages and towns such as Raiganj and Shahapur. The story of village Palampur is totally or entirely an imaginative story that will allow us to know more and more about the farming. There are two types of activities in Palampur: farm activities and non farming activities. The organization of production. The first requirement of any type of production is actually the land, and second requirement is labor. Without labor you can't utilize the land in a best way, and the third requirement is physical capital, and physical capital is further is divided into three categories: fixed capital, working capital, and human capital. First one, land. See, all the important economic activities are carried on land. The farming is also a kind of economic activity. The first requirement is land and other natural resources such as water, forest, and minerals, etc. Second one is labor. Some activities require qualified laborers, means skilled laborers and highly educated workers to perform necessary tasks. Some activities require unskilled workers who have physical capacity, but in every activity, labor is vital. Physical capital, which is also known as the fixed capital. Tools, machines, and buildings can be used in production over many years and are called fixed capital. Tools and machines range from very simple tools such as farmer's plow to sophisticated machines like tractor, generators, turbines, computer, etc. Physical capital. The another form of physical capital is working capital. Production requires a variety of raw material like yarn used by the weaver and clay by the potters. And also some money is always required during the production time to make payments and buy other necessary materials. Raw material and money in hand are working capital, as unlike tools, machines, and buildings, these are used up in a production. Next one is human capital. So, what is this human capital and why it is required? We can also say that the fourth requirement is the human knowledge. We will need knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor, and physical capital and produce an output. In the absence of this human capital, we cannot get the exact output or the desired output. These days it is known as the human capital. So every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital as well as the human capital, which is known as the factors of production. The four major factors of production are land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Now, in village Palampur, because we are talking about Palampur, so in village Palampur, land is fixed. Farming is main activity in the village, where 75% of the people are working in field as farmers, but there is a constant rise in population, so the waste land are converted to cultivable land. Now there exists no land to convert to cultivable land. Now, what are the different ways through which we can grow more crops on the same piece of land or same piece of field? Yes, of course, we can do by putting some inputs like HYV seeds, mean high yielding variety of seeds, fertilizers, modern farm machineries, pesticides, irrigating using modern facilities by canals, pumping set, electricity, dams, etc. By using all these methods, one can grow more and more crops from the same piece of land. Now, will the land sustain? If we use those previous methods, then will the land sustain? Land being as a natural resource, it is very necessary to be very careful in use. Scientific reports have stated that the modern methods of agriculture, that is the overuse of natural resources, somewhere spoils the natural resource. Green revolution is associated with the loss of soil fertility due to increased use of the chemical fertilizers. Then how is land benefited or distributed? In village Palampur, we were having 450 families altogether. Then how the land is distributed among these 450 families? So about one third of the 450 families are landless. That is round about 150 families. Most of them are Dalits. They don't have any land for cultivation. Of remaining families who own the land, 240 families cultivate less than 2 hectares of land, which doesn't get much profit. That is only for their self consumption. And in Palampur, there are about 60 families of medium and large farmers who cultivate more than 2 hectares of land. A few of the large farmers have land extending over 10 hectares or more than. Then who will provide the labor? Another question in this story arises that who provide the labor? After land, labor is the next important factor in agriculture or in any other production. Small farmers, along with their family members, cultivate their own field, thus cutting off cost of labor. Medium and large farmers hire farm labor to work on their fields. Farm labor come from landless farmers or farmers cultivating very small field of lands. Along with that, village Palampur have some non-farming activities such as dairy farming. People used to keep some cattle or rear cattle for dairy purpose. They used to excess production of the milk they used to sell in the nearby markets to earn more and more profit. Another one non-farming activity is having small shops, owning the small shops, and in these shops they have all the daily needed items. See, in picture also you can see that everyone is having these type of items. Another one is the transportation. Some people use their bullock carts, tongas, and other means of transport as the transport. So they give their transport or vehicle on a rent to earn some money. In this way, the whole story of village Palampur ends. I hope you are able to understand through this short video.